Hey, friends, it's your intrepid warriors, David Lanjuli and Margaret Can at fundraisingleadership.org. And we're here to talk to you today about letting go of control.
Yeah. David, I think you might, well, some episodes notwithstanding, that might be a bigger challenge for you some days than for me.
Oh, totally. But I'm really have come a long way in this regard. And we might call it the long woo way as I'm listening to Leave It Be, um, which is a program about Eastern philosophy
Yeah.
and Taoism mostly, the Wu Wei.
And what are
Yeah.
you learning?
Um, well, it's just reinforcing the the letting go of wanting to control things and going with the flow of life. So this is very, very difficult for managers and leaders to do.
Yeah. I was wondering when I read David just wrote a blog about this and it's up on the fundraising leadership website. And I am making an assumption, so I'm going to pause to see if that's true. But as you were writing, control was about like planning and having, I know that it's a much bigger thing, but that what you were really referring to is you sort of lay out your
Planning,
day, you have a
organizing,
vision, you make plans, and then
right?
kablooey, it's
Yeah,
like your whole
kablooey.
schedule blows
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, who who hasn't had that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like for me, though, the things that I want to control, which are equally out of my power to control, but it's how things are received. It's less about maybe the planning or
Mhm.
the structure of my day, but where I get hung up more, I think, on control is wanting, I might post a blog or, we might put an offering out there or something. And then
Mhm.
when I can't control who signs up or who reads it or who gives feedback or what kind of feedback I get, that's where my controller wants to, blow its lid. Like, ah.
That's a form of control for sure.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
for those of you in the audience who want to learn a little bit more about this, Alan Watts, some of his recorded talks are rolled up into a program called Leave It Be. Was put out by Sounds True, which is over there in Boulder by you,
It
Margaret.
is. Yes.
And Alan Watts is a very interesting guy, and it's just a very, very humorous. He's just very funny. He was kind of like a product of the 60s and 70s. So there's a lot. And what's so interesting is in that particular program, and we'll talk a little bit more about our positive intelligence work and how we actually coach leaders to do this. But uh, Alan Watts predicted a whole bunch of things that have come like in technology and that have come to be. It's so interesting to listen to this program. So for those of you who want to just, he had like foresight, he really had foresight. And so, and around technology, I particularly use my calendar as a form of control. I schedule a lot of stuff. It's helpful as far as that goes. It keeps me on track. But I learned a long time ago to just hold that loosely. Like I move stuff around on my calendar all the time, even though I'll schedule stuff and, uh, maybe I don't have the energy to write a long form article. And so I don't do that. And so there's a way of planning and organizing that is helpful in our modern world. And what is even more skillful is to just hold that loosely.
Yeah. My this weekend I went to to a retreat, and I had to drive there. It was live, sort of a workshop, I guess. And I parked and I realized, oh, I still have 20 minutes or 25 minutes before it starts. And I walked by this adorable little local coffee shop in Loveland, Colorado, and I peek in and there's no line to order. And I was like, perfect, I have time.
Yeah.
And I go in and I order my latte, and then I go to the end of the counter and I look around and there's maybe 12 or 14 people sitting at tables, and I realize not one single one of them has a drink yet.
Hmm.
So I misjudged. I thought, oh, there's
Yeah.
no line.
Right.
I sat there and I started dancing like I'm impatient. This isn't going to happen in
Give
time.
me my
And
coffee. Give me my coffee. Give me my coffee.
yeah.
You know, outcome, outcome, outcome.
Yes, yeah. And then I thought, I don't need to be a jerk. Like, just either choose to walk away if I don't feel like I have time, or sit here and behave. But it's just another place, I guess, that sort of time I wanted to control an
Yeah.
experience that was out of my control.
Well, it's just like it's going with the wave of that. So, in other words, you realize, oh, but then the planning, organizing mind starts to come in. Oh, well, I get to my meeting on time, and you know, should I walk out? Should I stay? So, what did you decide? Like, how did you flow with it?
I decided to wait for my coffee and just accept the consequences of being, 5 or less minutes late. If it felt like it was going to be more than 5 minutes, I might have made a different choice. But that's what I chose. And then luckily it started late, so I was less late than but
Yeah.
it could have been
Oh,
awkward.
that's great. You see, you went with
Yeah.
the flow of that, you see, and you got your coffee, and they were late anyway. So the universe
Yes.
just met you perfectly where you were. But it
Yeah.
does create a little anxiety even to make decisions like this, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I was with my daughter in Dallas Fort Worth this past weekend. Boy, I noticed how the education industrial complex really does kind of condition us around this planning and organizing stuff, because she's like, oh, and we could do this and we could do this and this is at this time and this is at that time. And then I used one of my favorite. My father was a master at this wu wei stuff. You'd ask him, "Oh, are we going to go do this? Are we going to?" He said, "We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
Yeah.
see." That was his like. That was he said that to everything. Oh, Pop, can we go to Keensburg Amusement Park? We'll see.
Yeah.
Pop, can we go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee? We'll see. That was his answer to everything.
That's, well, there are worse
He never even used a calendar planner. The man
yeah.
just like totally lived that way, you
Yeah.
know.
We'll see. A lot of wisdom, and we'll see. We will, won't
We'll see.
we? We'll
Exactly.
see.
So
Yeah.
just our invitation is to let things unfold more, make some plans for sure, hold them loosely. And we actually coach this. So this controller thing, this controlling behavior, you know, if you've gone to university and even gone and got like a master's of business administration, you're actually taught how to, I mean, that managers control things. I mean, that's what you do. But we're
Yeah.
here to say that um, a better way is something we call the innovate power. And you cannot innovate. That's one of the sage powers in our positive intelligence program. You cannot innovate if you're controlling everything. It's actually impossible to innovate and
Yeah.
control.
I want to just sort of add something because, we're not saying like, oh, if you would prefer to go watch, a show on Netflix, right? Like that's not a great way to run your day either. So it certainly does, I think, start with a vision and a plan and some action, but held
Mhm.
loosely. I mean, I just really
Yeah.
want to underline that that's what you're saying, not
Well,
like
yeah.
wake up and just see what you feel like doing during the day. There's a happy medium in between those
Yeah.
six.
Well, yeah. Alan Watts talks about like in Zen, there's there's a lot of discipline that you develop in Zen to the point where, and this is true in martial arts too, to where things look effortless. So, you know, and I'm a fairly disciplined person, and but what comes with that is, you know, I can on the spot choose to do something or not do something. And this is also what we call the activate power in our positive intelligence coaching program. Like in the moment, spontaneity, first of all, you can't plan spontaneity. You can only be spontaneous. But it takes some training. Like you have to have some discipline before you can actually be spontaneous. Like when you
Yeah,
see little kids in the classroom, like my wife teaches second grade, and those kids are just all over the place, right? And that is chaos. So we're not advocating for chaos. So this is like
right.
paradoxical what we're talking. So here's the thing about also Eastern philosophy is it's riddled with paradoxes. So and life
Yeah.
is riddled with paradox also.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there is what you're saying. There's a choice. I mean, the moment, in the coffee shop, it wasn't ultimately the choice that I made about whether to stay or go. It was the choice I made to stop resisting that this was going to take longer. When
Right,
I first saw all those people still waiting for their drinks, I started fidgeting and, like sticking my head like behind, like, really? Are there really 12 cups lined up for them to make coffee? I started
right,
amping up, resisting
right,
the reality
right,
of like this is going to take longer than I want it to. I
right,
don't have control of this situation, and my first
right,
impulse was to get agitated and amped to judge. This is
right,
terrible. Like, what kind of coffee shop is this? Where's the
right.
other people to help? But then the first choice was like,
Why
no,
did I
accept.
why did I come in here in the first place? I made a big
It was called
mistake. I put
feel.
good money down, and now I have to walk away from it. The inner
By the
critic
way,
was
the
also
name of
there.
the coffee shop was Feel Love Coffee.
Oh
And
yeah,
it was delicious, and I recommend it highly. It was just a slow moment, but that's important though, because there is that moment when you realize, oh, this isn't going to go how I planned.
right, right,
Right, that's your first choice point. That's where the Eastern wisdom comes into play. Like,
right.
oops, this is not going to go the way I thought it was going to go. So
Yeah,
first, your first choice, how do you react? Right, how do
right,
you respond? How do you be with that?
right. And you know, we talk a lot about both and thinking. That's actually paradoxical thinking. So in other words, and it's both and thinking is really all about possibility. So, like in that moment, you could have said, well, maybe it's possible that I can get my coffee and make it on time, which is actually what happened,
Which is what happened. Yes.
even though you weren't, in terms of clock time, uh, you weren't there at the start of the top of the hour, but you were on time because the program didn't start and the program
Right.
was running late. So you were actually on time.
And there was another gift in there because again, our PQ program sort of helps us, which is I had the opportunity to strengthen my patience muscle,
Exactly. Well,
which is
were you
not finely
consciously
developed
were you
muscle, just saying.
so
It could use a few more
I
reps.
find you have lots of patience. I often think like you have a lot more patience than I do. I am a highly impatient person. But it's something I'm working on as well. So we're in the just curious in the moment where you're actually aware that you are practicing patience.
Yes, I absolutely
Beauty.
caught myself, being a jerk and just energetically a jerk. I didn't say anything rude or anything like that,
Yeah.
although I suppose that could have been next. But I just, I caught myself in that like impatient fidget, and I thought, you know
Right.
what? I don't need to do this. I can,
Right.
I can take a
Yeah.
breath, or I
Right.
can leave. I mean, I have
Right.
choices, but doing what I'm doing and ruining everybody else's coffee experience
Well,
by,
that's the thing about controller, right? When you're
yeah,
trying to control an outcome or a process, you didn't do this in this particular case. You could drive other people nuts. Not only do you drive yourself nuts by experiencing impatience and frustration, but you then drive other people nuts. And that's how you sabotage your team, for example, at work. Uh, and
yeah,
we actually, have some antidotes to this, to being able to still have your coffee and be on time too.
Is that like having your cake and eating it too?
Exactly. So we're gonna leave you with that, folks. And there's a little blog on this you can check out on the blog site. And get in touch with Margaret, or me, or Michelle, or Janice if you'd like some coaching around your controller.
Sounds good.
All right, take it easy.